here are the three. Oh no. I predicted that these three would not qualify, and they did. And remember that my opinion, it doesn't matter. It has no effect on anything, but I'll try to explain these to you. Okay, so let's start with Estonia. It broke my heart to have to say that I did not think Estonia would qualify, but again, pitch use, like, hello, I felt like the majority of the song, he was not in the right key. Like, it was almost like he was hearing the song in a different key than the performance. And the press conference afterwards, he spent almost his whole time apologizing for not being in the right key. And if he was aware of that, and you still voted Estonia through, then I guess maybe it's his personality. I'm not quite sure. The staging was the same as it was at his national selection. All right, so the next one that I got wrong, and it was Belarus. Okay, okay, I get it. Like, she's bringing this young, sort of energetic vibe that honestly was lacking in this semifinal. But there were pitch use, like a lot of them, and again, for me, like, she kind of stayed in one place. And for me, the lyrics are just to the song are so like almost like cringeworthy for me. I was not expecting for Belarus to qualify, and I'm happy that Belarus did qualify, because that means the people in Europe that voted thought that she deserved a spot in the grand final. So hey, I get it. Like, it's upbeat. She's young. She's current. She's pretty. She has a good voice. I just maybe didn't feel like the song was quite there. My opinion doesn't matter. Okay, now we have to talk about this one. Again, I have to say that Meredith was happy that this qualified, and San Marino. Look, as much as I love the fact that you're in the grand final again, and look, I love Serhat, but I feel like San Marino qualified because people love Serhat, not so much because of the performance. For like half of that song, did you guys even know that, like, hear that he was singing one note, first of all, and it wasn't even in the right key. I get it. I thought that they did the most they could with the staging, and I think, look, it's upbeat, it has a positive message, it's a bright, show on the stage, and maybe that's what people wanted. Clearly it is, because it made it through. But I just didn't feel like with some of those, like the first, like, half of the song, when he wasn't on pitch, that I don't know. Now the 10 that I predicted will qualify. I'm going to start with the ones that I predicted will qualify but did not. Starting with, and this is a heartbreaker for me, Hungary. I think this is your first time to not qualify, and I felt like they did as much as they could with the staging, but maybe I was still enamored with his song from 2017, Origo, is that what it was called? Because it was just so amazing, and I love the message of this song, but I guess I can get how the public would have thought it maybe was a little bland, and like a lot of it was just like the la 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 yeah, yeah, and like there was not. I think that might have confused people because they want a hook and a chorus that they can really sing, but as far as like depth of the lyrics and his vocals and the staging, I feel like it was solid, like all the way through, and I still do. It's not as good as this other one was in 2017, but to me, it maybe deserved a place, and I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the one that I know that everybody has talked about the most. Yes, I predicted that Portugal will qualify, but then as I thought about it, I started thinking about, art is so subjective, and there are some people that will look at a Jackson Pollock painting and be like, oh my god, that is genius. Like, what? Oh. And then there's like some people that are just like, that's like splatter paint. Um, I say that because I think that Portugal sent something that was super sort of like high end art, and you know, it was a big risk, and it ended up not paying off for them. And as much as I love the song, because I love like weird artistic, performances and art like that. I can also see where the casual Eurovision viewer of that semifinal was like, "What is happening right now? Like, what is this?" Not saying that it wasn't the right entry for Portugal to send, and I don't think Portugal as a country will be phased one bit by this not having qualified. But art is subjective, and when you send something that artistic and that it's gonna you'll have like a whole lot of I feel like the critics of it, or whatever you want to call them, the people in the press center love the song because it was so artistic, but they sometimes can fail to realize that the average viewer sometimes just wants to be entertained. They don't really want to try to interpret super high end artistic performances like that. So I mean, as heartbroken as I am for Conan Osiris and for Portugal, I know that Portugal is probably already, they're just probably like, okay, well, we'll try again next year. And that's the right attitude to have. So the next country that I got wrong, and I was not a fan of this one until I saw some of the rehearsals, but I put Georgia as a country that I thought would sneak in because honestly, I don't know what more Georgia could have done to have qualified. The staging was probably the best staging, other than maybe Australia, of the entire first semifinal. The message was strong, just the visuals, everything about it was absolutely perfect. But at the end of the day, maybe people didn't want serious, and they didn't want such a anthemic sort of song that told the story of the people of Georgia, but not so much something that related to people all over the whole world. So that's my thought on that. I really thought Georgia, and I was hoping that Georgia would sneak into the final because it was such a masterpiece of a performance. But yeah, it didn't qualify. That made me sad. Okay, I think that leaves now the ones that I got right. So I'm just gonna go through these because yeah. Okay, I think that leaves now the ones that I got right. So I'm just gonna go through these because yeah, I'll tell you what I thought. Okay, I really Czech Republic. I was kind of still on the fence on. I felt like we hadn't seen any growth from them since they won. But there's absolutely no denying the fact that the visuals of that are stunning. The song is super catchy. It's going to be stuck in your head, even if some of us still don't maybe understand exactly what it's about. It is a catchy song, and the lead singer is so energetic and pulls everyone in. And he's one of those that made that ginormous stage and arena feel so small and intimate. And that's, to me, the mark of a successful Eurovision artist, is when they're able to do that. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by it, they actually step up to that pressure and make the arena feel like 5 people are watching them, perform. And I liked it. So bright, so colorful. I think it could finish top 10, but it just depends sort of on the order of things. Okay, let's go with a country that I was so happy qualified. That's Slovenia. I loved Slovenia last year. Havalane was completely different than this. Sebi is such a beautiful sort of atmospheric, sonic, whatever type of song and vibe that I've loved them, since I heard it the first time. I love their interviews. so down to earth and what's the right word? Like, they don't care about taking themselves too seriously at all, which is awesome. What I love the most about the performance, and I'm so glad that Europe did too, was that you had these, two artists, and it was just two of them on that huge stage, singing, this song to each other. And again, it felt like we were like maybe in someone's living room, just watching two people sing to each other who were in love with each other. And it felt so small and so intimate, and that takes talent. Yes, it takes a lot of good camera angles, but it also takes talent and a real depth of emoting what the song is about, even if it's in a foreign language. Everyone could see that, and we knew that they are in love with each other, and that nothing else mattered in that arena. And I still think that they would have been just as satisfied, if they would not have qualified. But I am so happy that they did. It's just, yeah, so happy for you, Slovenia.